everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we have some very special guests yet again here in the studio. And first off today, we have one of our friends from Holzer here, and Jamie Sisson is here. And you are, let me get it right, you are the Director of Spiritual Care at Holzer.
Yeah, I'm the chaplain.
Yeah.
Why
didn't you just say chaplain?
Because it's a bigger thing than that. But
okay. I could have spit that out way faster. It's okay. We'll forgive you. Okay. We'll forgive you. But we are going to talk about something that's very, very important because April is Donate Life Awareness Month. And so we're going to be talking about organ donation and things like that. But first off, I guess we have a commercial and then we'll be back. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll be right back.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back with Chaplain Jamie Sisson, and you are from Holzer, so welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you here today and discuss something that is so very, very important, and that is organ donation. So welcome, welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here. And first off, I always have our Holzer guests, and we're not going to let Marley get off the hook. Like, one of these days, I'm going to make her come over here. But yeah, she's going to have to do it. But today, it's you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But no, I always have our Holzer guests kind of tell everybody a little bit about themselves so they can get to know you, if you would.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Gallia County. And I have been a pastor in Gallipolis, actually in Rio Grande, for the last 20 years. And I was volunteering as a chaplain for quite a few years, but became director in July of 2020. So
great timing.
It was perfect timing, very great. Well, the guy before me was smart enough to retire
during a global pandemic.
During
COVID, I think that was probably brilliant.
So we had a couple rough years, but actually It's interesting that's part of the conversation, because during that we started putting together some booklets for people who were dealing with the loss of family members.
Yes.
And one of the elements that we included in it was this conversation about organ donation. And that's kind of where I really got passionate and interested in it.
Yes.
I had walked through the process with some church members, one who was who needed a kidney and one who was trying to get approved to donate a kidney. So I knew a little bit of that, but when we were developing this booklet, I really learned a lot more about it. And when the Donation Council asked me to be part of it, I was really excited to do that.
And I can't even imagine having to come in as a chaplain during a global pandemic. I'm sure you saw and had to deal with a lot of family members and things. And unfortunately, you had people that couldn't be with their family members and loved ones. And it was a mess. Yeah,
it was hard. There was a period of time where even we weren't allowed to go in to do visits unless it was something that was a critical situation. But it was hard, and having conversations with families after the fact and helping people get connected via Zoom or whatever, so they could say goodbye. And it was tough.
Oh man!
But that's not all we do as chaplains, but that's what we do often. And it was hard, but like I said, one of the things that really kind of encouraged me, or one of the things that prompted me, was this conversation about organ donation. Because I saw a lot of situations where there were people who may have been able to save others and weren't donors. So that's...
Yes. And so let's talk, I guess, for a minute about the process of organ donation. And obviously it's very, very important. And I guess, how you sign up for it and all that, because you need to let somebody know if that's in your mind.
Yeah, and the easiest way to do that is when you get your driver's license, tell them you want to be an organ donor.
That's it.
Yeah, they ask you the question. They put the little heart on your license to let them know, and that's really as simple as that. If you were to have an accident or something, you would come in. They would look the emergency room, or if you end up on another floor, they will look at that. Your license to see if it's there. One of the things a lot of people don't know is that Lifeline of Ohio, who is the organ donation company, they're the ones who actually come in and are responsible for harvesting and distributing the organs.
Okay.
They get called anytime that there is a death in the hospital. So if there's a demise, so that if it's not clear that the person is an organ donor, they will call and find out if that's a viable decision the family can make. So one of the misconceptions is, I think mostly from television and movies, is that you're basically in one room and the doctor is taking that organ and putting it in the person who's in the next room. And that's not the way it happens, actually.
No.
The doctor, or they're running around with igloo coolers.
With coolers with organs in them.
That doesn't typically the way it's
auctioning them off to the highest bidder.
Right, all of that kind of stuff. And really what happens is the hospital, if they get a confirmation that someone wants is an organ donor, they will have to have the hospital doctor is the one who says that either clinical death, your heart and your lungs have stopped, or brain death have happened, and then the doctors from Loop will come in and do the harvesting and get them distributed. And it may be someplace in Ohio, it may be in Georgia or Pennsylvania or across the country. So every person who donates, there's a potential of saving 8 lives. And a lot of people don't know that. But up to 75 people can be helped with skin grafts and cornea and all kinds of different things.
Here's a question that just popped into my mind. Is there something, can you say, well, they can have everything but my eyes because I don't want that? Or is there a... Yeah,
you can designate what you want to be used.
Okay.
But
I mean, I've heard people say, well, I don't know about the eye thing, or whatever. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, and sometimes people are concerned that if they say they're going to be an organ donor, they won't be able to have like an open casket or something at their funeral. But that's not the case. They can do everything. They can set up. They can do what needs to be done. But you can have an open casket. You can do all the normal funeral stuff in the normal time. And it's not. It's a pretty in-depth procedure, but when you see your loved one for the first time after that, it's not going to be anything different than what you would expect. So,
I was going to ask a question. Well, there's something going through my mind. Well, if you pass on and you go to the funeral home, and they're preparing you for an open casket, I mean, isn't that stuff removed anyway, or no? I don't know. We need to ask that.
No, they will. This is kind of grotesque.
I know. I told you.
I know they drain all the fluids and put new fluids in.
I have a friend that's a funeral person.
But I'm pretty sure that's not. But I do know that. But but what you're saying is kind of, it makes sense with this. Usually you're not. You wear clothes in the casket, so that's something. Your eyes are closed during that time, so it's not like. Those things that are missing you're going to see those
right
things. And funeral folks, I know quite a few of them, obviously in my job, who there are a lot of different ways, a lot of techniques and skills that they have to make things possible. So
very much.
So you have any other questions about organ donation? Because I don't know anything else about
I do
prepping bodies.
Okay. Yeah, we can get back to that.
Good.
I promised him I wouldn't get him in trouble, and here I am.
No, I'm not in trouble at all. I haven't said anything.
No, it's but I think it's things that pop into your mind or that people might be thinking about during a normal conversation when it comes to that. So, so back to the organ donation. So someone comes in, and we're talking about not living donors,
No,
because
living
that's
donors
a
are something
whole
completely
other
separate. Yeah.
situation. So we're talking about organ donation and the fact that someone has passed on.
Yeah, and it would be, as a result of an accident or an extended medical issue. That's one of the misconceptions people often have, is that if you have a cancer or some other long-term chronic illnesses, that you're not a viable donor.
That's a great point.
But you can actually, there's still a possibility, you can still be evaluated. It may be that certain things can still be used. Like I said, skin grafts are a huge part of what is done.
Okay.
And so even if you have a history of those
Never
things.
even thought about that.
Yeah. Even if you have a history of that, you can still be evaluated, and they can still find out if there are things that are viable and can be used.
Absolutely. Okay, so the easiest way to become an organ donor, which I'm going to say this, you're not going to say this, Jen is going to say it. I don't know why you wouldn't be. You don't need them anymore.
Right.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Anywho, it's your prerogative to sign up or not sign up. But I definitely have signed up personally. And Liv's over there going, yeah, I mean, me too. Because, again, you don't need them anymore. But so the easiest way to do that is through your driver's license.
Yes. But you can also do a few different things. Actually, if you go to the Lifeline Ohio website, they actually have forms that you can fill out that give permission so that you can carry that, or that your family can have it.
Okay.
There are also living wills that you can put in place. I always encourage people, even if they have that on their license, to get the will in place. That way, it's a legal document that you can give, and not just for that, for all the different kinds of advanced care
For
that
lots
you
of
may
things.
need. Yeah, just because we have so many folks who are in different situations, and the families are kind of have the responsibility and the burden of making decisions at the end. And it's one of the hardest, most excruciating things that families can go through, and giving them your wishes is really
that
important.
Guidance.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
this is one of those things that can be added into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And
they actually do that. You can do all of those things through Holzer. We have an organizational experience department that will oversee advanced directives and things.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So can we talk about the process? I'm just curious, and I know you're not a doctor, but what is the process that happens when, say, God forbid, a family member is in an accident, and then what happens from there?
Well, typically, I mean, for us, they would come through our emergency department. To do everything. The emergency crew does everything they can to stabilize a person or save them.
They're not picking and choosing who gets to live and who doesn't.
Do not.
That's
if they just because they see that heart. The one thing I try to always get people to remember is that the nurses, the providers, doctors, nurse practitioners, PAs, all those folks, their entire job and the whole reason they went into it is to save lives.
yes.
That's it. There's no other goal. So if you go into those spaces, or if you're in our critical care unit, or you're on one of our acute floors or whatever, that's their primary goal. They're not sitting around waiting for this. It's not like they know their aunt needs a kidney or something, and it's their job, and their entire focus is on saving your life.
Sure.
What happens, though, is when that can't happen, or in a situation, maybe it's a hospice situation where you know the time is coming, there are a lot of monitoring that takes place. If they think it's a brain death, for example, you have to have more than one doctor. 2 doctors from the hospital are the ones who have to verify it, so it's not just one person.
Okay.
And then when the physicians come in from Loop, that's what Lifeline of Ohio, they also verify it. So there's a lot of processes, and
So there's several different teams.
Yes, and there are a lot of protocols
from different places.
Yeah, so
Dealing with this.
So then,
okay.
if your family decides, or if you've said this is what you want to do, and you're a candidate, which a lot of people don't realize, even within, the percentage of people who are actually viable candidates is actually pretty small. That's the reason you need a larger pool of
Sure.
people. So they'll determine that. They get that. The hospital, in our case, Holzer and Gal Police would notify them. They would come down. They talk to the family. They verify whether or not what has been said is true as far as brain death or clinical death. And then there's a long process. I mean, we've done these at Holzer, and it can be a couple days process of
Really?
of
Okay.
really making sure everything is okay or everything is in line. So it's not not like the movies. It's not a quick process.
Yeah.
If those kinds of now, if it is a clinical, if the lungs and the heart have stopped and those kinds of things, then it's quicker. But it's a long process. It's very arduous, and I've worked with our group, Lifeline of Ohio, in a lot of different ways. They are very, very focused on making sure that not just the patient is honored,
Yes.
the family's desires are honored, but also the most people possible are taken care of with those donations.
Yeah, and I think that that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is, and I think that for me, one of the things I think if something were to happen to me and I were to be gone, one of my greatest desires is that someone else gets to live
Yes.
if I'm not here. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it as well. And if they can live on through, or you're living on through them, or I don't know, there's so many different ways to look at it.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, please allow someone else to live if I can't.
Right.
Like that's amazing. Okay, so I don't know if you know statistics or whatever, but I have to think there are a lot of folks out there that are needing.
I looked. The
Organ
last time I
donation.
looked, were 100,000 people on the transplant list, but that might just be for one organ. It might just be and that's the United States. That might actually that might just be for kidneys. But there are at least
crazy.
100,000 people waiting for those, and that means that if it's a kidney issue, that means that they're going through dialysis process to do that, or if it's liver or heart, or there are all kinds of other treatments people are going through. Everything else has been kind of exhausted
Yes.
to get to the place where you need an actual transplant. So it's a hard experience for families. There's a lot of waiting. The process of becoming a recipient of an organ is a very long process. There are a lot of tests and things that have to happen in that. I mean, there's so much that has to happen perfectly. It's kind of, it's unfortunate that you can go through all that process and be a perfect candidate, but then you wait just because people haven't signed that paper or made themselves put that little heart on their license.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are there any like stories that you could tell, something that you can think of that you've seen with organ donation?
Well, I've got a few different ones. Like I said earlier, there's a young woman at our church who has actually had a kidney transplant.
Okay.
She went through the process. She had family members who actually also went through the process of trying to donate.
Yes.
And were not and didn't end up being able to be candidates. But she was waiting for quite a few years and finally was able to get her a kidney. And I'm not sure exactly where it came from. I think she told me at one point, but I can't remember. But that was probably 7 or 8 years ago, and she's here, and it was very dire. Like, her family was very concerned that they were going to lose her.
Sure.
She was in her mid-20s when that happened, and
Oh,
so
my.
now she has she's got many, many years ahead. We've got, like I said, we have had transplants through the hospital. One of the interesting things that people don't know about is there's kind of a thing when you have a family that or someone who's said that they will be a donor, we have a thing called the Honor Walk, which people from all over the hospital system will line the hallway, and it's kind of a very solemn situation as they're taken to.
That's a lot.
It's very moving, but it's a way for people to realize, or at least for people to convey how much they appreciate the decision that's been made.
Sure.
Because, especially if a family is making that decision, it's a tough one. Like it's like you said, it's easy if it's you, saying, yeah, well, you take my organs or whatever.
Yes.
But when you're going through a tough situation, you've already been traumatized by an accident or whatever.
There's so much going on.
It
would be hard.
It's very vitally important that we let people know how much it's appreciated. And then the other part of this is there is aftercare for families that's provided and offered through, not just through our hospital, but also through Lifeline of Ohio. They follow up and try to make sure that the grief part of it is their support for that also.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that as well, with the family members and everybody that's left behind.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, you're already losing a family member that you maybe didn't expect it, but then you also have that that additional decision that has to be made, and if you've already made decisions regarding other life-sustaining support, and then you have to make this one, there's just a lot goes on. There's a lot of emotional
oh my gosh,
stuff that happens, and so it's really important for people to get support and for us to do everything we can to support them.
Well, that's amazing. So what are some of the other things that you wanted to just kind of let our viewers know about what your experiences are, or what you're thinking about organ donation?
My main concern, or one, not concern, but the main parts of the conversations that I have really surround people being concerned about making that decision and their care not being up to snuff because of it. Like, they're really concerned that if I become an organ donor, then I'm not going to get the kind of care I need because they're waiting for, they're trying to get this, to go somewhere else.
Sure.
And I just really try to help people realize that that's not the way the medical professionals are professionals. Their goal.
They took an oath.
Yeah, like our providers of all, their goal is to save the people in front of them.
Sure.
And they don't know the other people who would get that, but also they're not the ones who even make those decisions about where they go.
Yes.
There's
a lot of checks and balances
there are a lot of different
going
things,
on there.
and there are the articles that you read where something went wrong, or the news shows or the YouTube videos, probably most likely, or things on TikTok that you've seen about it, are typically they're outliers, but they get the most most press. They get the most attention. There are a lot of special, and I can speak specifically to Ohio, the number of steps, the number of different places where this process can stop if people are uncomfortable, or if there's a chance that someone is going to recover. There are so many of those in place that those things don't happen, and if they were happen, it would be very, very rare. But it's not because people are looking they don't bring in people who need organs and say, you make a decision. It's
correct.
There are multiple people making those decisions. So that's the main thing. And then just to encourage people, I really believe, and I said this earlier with some other folks, the advanced directives, not the living will and those other things, they're very important, not just for organ donation, but for every element of end of life care.
Sure.
If you want to give your family a great gift, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's the truth.
No, it's the truth.
Get that stuff written down, get it in writing, so that they don't have those questions if they are, in those situations. And nobody wants to be in that situation.
No.
But it's easier if it's in writing than even, it's better if it's in writing than even if you just had a conversation about it.
And you're never too young for that either.
Yeah. I did.
We all think we're invincible, and
I had a surgery when I was about 35, and actually went through Holzer, and they asked, if I had these in place, and we said no, and asked if we wanted to, and went ahead and filled those out, and they're on file now.
yes.
So I don't ever have to worry about that. If something happens to me, I was in the hospital a couple years ago. They had all of that on file,
Yeah.
and they knew what I wanted, and those things were very helpful for my family
Sure.
because they knew, and I'd had those conversations. Of course, in my line of work, I have a lot of conversations
bet
that
you
people
do.
don't necessarily have, but it's extremely important, and organ donation is one of those things that you can talk about, but also it can benefit so many people.
And you can change your mind too.
Yeah.
If you do your living will, and as time goes on, you feel a little more differently
Yeah.
about something, you can change that.
Yeah, there's that's the beauty of being human. You have that ability to make those decisions. make those
Sometimes
changes.
circumstances change or whatever, and you can. I was just thinking, I mentioned you're never too young. Are there ages involved in organ donation?
Well,
like
when
an
you
age
turn
limit or too young?
There are no age limits as far as that, because it's not about your physical age. It's about the condition of the organs.
Sure.
So, some people who, you always see those videos and things of these people who are even in their 90s and still, driving and doing all of those types of things, and
yes.
and hiking. They seem to always be hiking in commercials. But
Or in bathtubs sitting side by
yeah,
side.
those kind of
still
things.
haven't figured that out. But
Those are a very different kind of medication.
that's the age-old question.
Yeah, but there's not that. At 15 and a half, they start asking you that question when you get your permit.
Sure.
And so you can say yes at 15 and a half that you want to be an organ donor. That's on there. But until you're 18, your parents can still kind of overrule that if
Gotcha.
they want to. When you're before 15 and a half, that really ends up being a conversation that is had if you're in a situation and families have to make those.
Okay.
They do that, it does unfortunately happen, but at 15 and a half, it's probably one of the first adult questions you get asked.
That's a big one too, isn't it?
But you kind of start having that kind of autonomy, and it's a decision that I remember when I was a kid, you didn't get your permit at 15 and a half. You had to wait until you're 16 to get anything. But I remember asking that question, and it was really kind of a liberating thing of, they're asking me.
Yeah, finally, I get to make an adult decision.
And everything. So it was, I've had that heart on my car ever since. And
Same.
It's just, but as far as the age requirements, there aren't really any.
Okay. And if you're sitting there listening to this today and saying, I guess I've just never thought about it,
Right.
or they've asked me at the DMV, and I've always just said no, but now I want to change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And you can sign up through Lifeline Ohio. You can do that living will.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you let your family members know. And I think every time you get your license, they ask you.
Every time you get it renewed, they ask you about that.
Yeah.
Then they ask if you want to give $1 for glasses for kids.
Yeah, something along that line as well. So, just say yes.
Yeah, and sometimes I think one of the other questions that get asked sometimes is people may worry about religious implications of it.
That was going to be my other question.
Okay.
I'm so glad you brought that up because it slipped my mind.
That's really there. There may be groups who are don't believe in receiving organs or donating organs. So that's really a conversation you have with your faith leader.
Yes.
In general, I don't, as far as Orthodox Christianity or whatever, I don't know that there are any groups that really prohibit that.
Okay.
But it's really a conversation you can have with them.
Sure.
And also that Lifeline of Ohio website also has there may be other questions, or there may be other information that people are interested in or have, want to know. You can go there and they have all that information. They even have those statistics you were talking about. They have those numbers.
And I think if you probably read some of that stuff, your mind will be blown, and it may make you think a bit.
Yeah, and the stories that you see of the people whose lives have been changed because of it, have literally been saved because of it, are pretty amazing.
I was reading, and I think our sweet Brittany that works here with us is in need of a kidney transplant, and she had mentioned this. And then Ohio State occasionally sends me emails about this, that, or the other. I think I donated or something, and they actually had a procedure there, and I don't know if you'd heard this or not, where it was a swap of like 20 different like kidney things going on all at once, because you can do the patient swap thing where maybe my kidney wouldn't be good for you,
yes,
but I agree to give it, and this is obviously a living donor situation, but they had one where they had a swap of like 20 at one time,
like a chain.
A surgery of where all of these people came together. And I read that the other day, and I just thought, my gosh, that just had to have been the most incredible day.
Oh yeah, it's
like,
to think that you had 20 different people who were able to walk out of there with a different life ahead of them. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. So there are those just incredible stories like that.
And like you've said with your friend, who's that process is a long one. She's probably shared a little bit of the different steps that are taken.
Yes.
But also just sitting and waiting, and sometimes it's a family member who can donate, but sometimes they don't. They don't match. But like you're saying, they can say, okay, I will do this, but as in exchange for one that does match or whatever.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of funky, but it's a really a blessing to people.
Sure.
And there was one other thing I was going to say regarding that, but I can't remember what it was. I got focused on Brittany's story. So, but yeah, it's that part of it is also amazing. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Often the other focus sometimes in media, particularly with the organ donation, is when you find out that some celebrity got their liver or celebrity got their
like
kidney.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, and they assume that they were, bumped up or whatever, and that's just not the way it happens.
Yeah.
Most likely with her and others that we've seen, I know that.
I think a friend gave her a kidney, didn't they?
So I remember that story now. But like, I remember, it's usually actors who end up getting a liver, and they're like, oh well, they drank their liver to death, and then they just got another one.
Right.
What people don't realize is they were also on that list for years. It wasn't just like because you're famous, you get bumped up.
Correct.
You're on the list, but also it may just be that he on that list, that actor or whatever was the first person who was actually a match to the donated organ.
Correct.
So there's a lot that goes on in there.
There's so many factors. Yeah. And here's the thing too, and I have a very, very good friend who is awaiting a liver transplant as well, and living the process along with him, and talking with him every day. He gets tested constantly. Yes. He's not able to drink. He's not able to if there's anything in your system whatsoever, it is frowned upon.
It resets you. I'm actually working on another project at the hospital, helping people navigate the process of donation. Yeah. And where we work with the couple places that we deal with, that we send patients, to Ohio State and Charleston Area Medical Center, and I learned so much about their process.
Yes.
And their screenings and
Oh.
all of those kinds of things.
I can't believe the stuff that he has to go through on the weekly basis.
Yeah, and if you screen a certain way or whatever, basically it resets the clock.
Yeah.
And so even that, is something that has encouraged me, because that means that, if you do donate, that the people on the other side are also committed and have made a commitment to do what's necessary to get the
They want to live.
Yes.
They're doing this for the right reasons.
Right. So that's just something that, like I said, that's one of the ones you can see on movies a lot or see on television, that you see a celebrity has gotten it, and that's just not the way it works.
Sure.
They just happened to match, and they were next on the list for that particular setup.
Ooh, the moving parts.
It's
mind-blowing.
It is, and that's one of the reasons it's such a great thing to have this in place, so that at least that part of it is simple and easy, not just for the folks involved, but for your family.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for what you do, number one, because I'm sure, and you bring peace to so many folks, and hope, and a whole lot of other things that I can't even think of right now. But thank you for that, and it must be very rewarding.
It is, and one of the reasons that I didn't say I was this chaplain is because I actually have a staff of chaplains, and I have volunteers.
You do a whole lot of other things. You wear a lot of other hats as well.
Yeah, but I just I don't want to take credit for all of the all the great care that's given for our folks.
You got it. Yeah. But all right, well, consider organ donation. Visit Lifeline Ohio, their website. It's a wealth of information, and it would probably be a good start for you.
Yeah, it's great. It'll answer the questions. It can actually get you connected to people who have other answers. You can also contact Holzer. Our donation council is very involved in this whole process.
Yep. All you have to do is call that main Holzer number, and they'll get you in the right direction.
Yep.
So, Jamie, thank you for stopping by today.
Problem.
We greatly appreciate it.
I enjoyed it.
And, well, me too.
Yeah.
And come back anytime you have anything you'd like to talk about.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we have, and you can stick by for this, because we have a rock band in the house.
Okay.
We're going to be rocking it out here in a minute.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's have a message or two, and then we'll be back with some rocking here in a minute.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
All right, and we are back. I told you we had some rockers in the house today.
Wannabe
rockers.
We try. Yeah, we do our best.
He's got black nails. He looks bad over there.
I've always got black nails, even on days we don't play.
I like that. That's
I'm
awesome.
dressed like a rock star on a daily basis.
Do ya?
Yes.
Love that.
You
Love
got to play
that.
the part.
24/7.
Fake it
Is
till
he?
you make it, baby.
Some of us can do it, some of us can't.
Well, tell everybody who you are.
We're Dragon's Eye.
Dragon's Eye.
Dragon's Eye Band. We're based out of Meigs County, Ohio.
So, okay, number one, how did you get your name?
In a hat.
In a hat, yeah. That's actually
Everybody
a funny
put 2
story.
names in a hat. And that was mine.
And we got, we did. That's how we did it.
Yep.
And we had a nonpartisan
Pulled the name.
for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first name she pulled was.
Well, what were some of the other names? Pete can come in if he wants.
Wicked Mistress.
I can remember a few of them.
Mine was Wicked Mistress and Dragon's Eye.
Southern Cross and Beast Coffin.
Beast Coffin.
Yeah.
But I don't think you were part of it.
I wasn't around at that time.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
painting your nails.
I was
he was
busy
He's
painting my
just
nails.
painting his nails.
He was trying to figure out what
toenails are
outfit
black,
he
too.
was going to wear next.
I was looking for more leather pants, Rob.
Yeah.
Those can be quite binding,
But
the leather pants.
the other two guys are not part of the band no more.
No,
They
no.
went their own ways.
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh.
All right, so Dragon's Eye. Tell us about Dragon's Eye.
Rock and roll.
High energy.
High energy.
Come to a show,
Yeah.
you're going to bang your head.
You're going to bang your head and you're probably going to laugh your butt off,
He
too.
banged his head so much his hair fell out.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
Yeah, we do a lot of cover songs and we do
Okay.
a lot of original stuff.
Awesome.
We're breaking out. We've shared the stage with many big names and
Well, tell us
The
about
Doing
it.
a lot of
the
big
original
things now.
music's
Well, we
where it's
got-
at, though. You
played
guys
with
would really
George
like
Lynch
a
on
lot
Lynch
of our
Mob.
original music.
I got to get on a tour bus with Jesse
Jackal.
James on Jackal.
Jackal.
Cool.
Opened
Yeah.
up for them
Fun.
a couple months ago.
Pretty Boy Floyd, we opened up for him. Trickster. We got Josie Scott from Saliva. I got the shirt off his back.
Oh yeah, that's a good story there too.
Saliva.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Saving Abel.
I'm surprised Josie gave that shirt up.
Played with a lot of big name guys.
We've been up there. We've been. on
That's
TV.
awesome. And how do you make that happen?
Hard work
Hard
and
work.
dedication.
Hard work.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got to have a little talent in there. These guys are some of the best musicians that you want to hear. Yeah.
Hard work.
Hard work.
Best
work.
bass player,
Hard work.
Southeastern Ohio. Best drummer, Southeastern Ohio.
That's
Best
awesome.
front-
And our beast of a guitar player is not.
Yeah, Ryan Vanko, we want to shout him out. He's our guitar player. He couldn't
Sup,
make it
buddy?
with us today, and he is an absolute beast on guitar.
So how'd y'all learn how to play?
Church.
I feel like that's a story.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of people say that.
I was in a gospel band when I was like 11 years old.
Yeah, sung in church.
I started
would-
playing about 15 years old.
Really?
Don't know how I did it. I just did
Just
it.
did it?
Yeah.
I think some people are just given that God-given talent, and
God-given
it's
talent.
just unbelievable.
But you can only make it so far on that talent. You have to put the work in.
No,
to
that's
get- to get
absolutely
there.
right. You're
You
correct
can only
on
go
that.
so far on natural talent.
So tell us where people can see you all play.
Anywhere southeastern Ohio, but we just acquired a tour, so we're going to be in 5 different states this year.
Sweet.
And we're on the Southern Woodstock tour with
Southern Rock Woodstock.
Oh
tour.
yeah, the one that we advertised here.
Leonard Skinner, Blackfoot, Molly Hatchet, 38 Special,
Allman Brothers.
Allman Brothers. There's a lot of different artists going to be on it.
And you guys get to perform with them.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
get open up.
and
we
I'm pretty
open
sure
up
there's
Awesome.
different artists in different states too that are going to
Yeah.
are only at specific specific dates.
Yeah.
that are going to be there. It's going to mix it up a little bit. It's going to be a really good tour. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So if people want to see you here locally, and that Southern Rock Woodstock was going to be at, I know what, Gallia County Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that one is
August
on
16th.
August 16th.
They're adding shows too, so you never know what may happen.
Yeah.
But so where can people see you here close by?
May the 3rd, we're going to be here at the Bar and Grill.
Okay.
Yep.
We don't have a whole lot of local shows. There's not many venues around here anymore.
Because you're
for
too
bands.
big time for that.
No, there's just not enough venues.
Yeah.
Trying to get in a stock room.
Freaking COVID, man.
COVID
That
did hold us back. It
Yeah,
really
it
did. We went for months and months and months and couldn't even practice together during
Yeah.
COVID.
That's a
I
rough
think
one.
they gave us time to revamp things.
But we got Blues Bash coming up. We do a lot of benefits.
Blues Bash down Meigs County is a big event every year. They have a lot of artists come down, rock and roll and blues, and it's a really big deal. It's a whole weekend, 3-day event.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mad Fest, which is it's close to St. Albans,
Yeah.
somewhere
Okay.
in West Virginia over there, so it's not too far away.
Got Vet Fest.
Vet Fest in
It's in
Marietta.
Marietta.
Yeah.
But you guys will be playing at Bar and Grill right here in Jackson.
Yeah.
May 3rd.
May 3rd,
May
so
the
you
3rd.
can check these guys out.
Come on
then.
out. We'll have a party.
Heck yeah.
Big party.
Party in Pickletown.
Be ready to
Heck yeah.
headbang.
Have you guys ever been? Well, no, because your hair falls out.
Well, just
Just mine. Just mine.
He's in the back. You wouldn't notice it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I stand. I'm too pretty to put up front. They always stick me in the back because they're afraid that
They're a little jelly.
Nobody won't watch the show because I'm so pretty.
I
So
mean, I'm not
they got to
arguing
put
with
me
you.
in the back so nobody can't see me.
That's right.
That's right.
It's a competition.
It's yeah.
So tell everybody some of the songs that y'all sing that they'd know. I mean, I know obviously you're writing your own too.
Yeah, yes, we write our own. We do a lot of Ozzy, Billy Idol.
80s rock,
A lot of 80s
Guns N'
stuff.
Roses,
anything
Kiss.
80s, yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah, lots
You
of
don't like bite bat heads off, do you?
No,
Okay.
Can. No, I'm kidding.
I'll pass.
I'm kidding.
he wouldn't. He's scared of bugs.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm scared of what?
Are you a big softie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I am.
Yeah. We actually
Only on
play.
the inside.
You ever remember the band Autograph? Mm-hmm. Turn up the radio. We play his song. He got on stage and performed it with us.
No way. Fun.
He actually,
Highlight.
Steve Lynch actually wrote that song for Autograph.
Okay.
So I got to sing it with him.
That is so
Yeah,
cool.
that was
Got to
Yeah.
sing with the lead singer of Hinder as well.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Austin Winkler. Yeah, I shared
Austin
shared
Winkler.
stage. Done a Skinner tune with him before. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Fun. So do you all have any like social media or anything
yeah.
where people can visit? They can see what y'all are about?
We're on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're on all the streaming.
All the stuff
platforms.
and things.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can find us about anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our music's out there.
Just look up Dragons.
Originals.
It's
Get us
even
on
getting to the point
YouTube.
now to where
We
Meta
want more
AI knows
subscribers.
who we are.
Aha.
That means you guys got to do it too before we leave.
That's right. Subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Yep.
Is it just under Dragon's Eye?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dragon's Eye Band.
Dragon's Eye Band. So go there right now and check it out.
Yep.
Yes. Do it.
Heart
Hit
of
the
Stone.
subscribe button. That's what the problem is. Nobody don't want to ever hit that subscribe button. They want to watch the videos, but don't hit the button.
Yep.
Hit the button
Hit the button.
and sign up to be an organ donor too.
Yep. They don't want mine.
Same. That's something I didn't talk with the chaplain about.
Mine's got a rough life. They don't want mine.
Yeah.
I only got half of them
No.
anyway.
Yeah, no, that was our last discussion. I was just trying to, mesh it all together. You only got half of them?
Yeah.
Doing run-on sentences.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of nice fans. They follow us clear to Cincinnati and watch us play.
Yeah,
No, that's awesome.
It's pretty good that you can sell 30 tickets and have 25 of them show up at a show 3 hours away. So it's-
Dragon's Eye fans are the best fans.
Dragons
in the
Eye
world.
fans are loyal.
We have 100% loyal fans.
First to grab merch. They help support us. Help
Love
pay our
that.
way.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Our fans are our family. They're just like family to us, especially all the loyal ones. They're there almost every show, right there in the front, ready to rock.
I love that. Yeah. Rock on. Very cool. So what else you want to tell our viewers while you're here?
You want to read off the show announcements?
Yeah, I can read off. If I can read your writing. Yeah. I tried this earlier. I couldn't read it very well. May 3rd, we're at the Bar and Grill here in Jackson.
Pickletown.
Pickletown. Yay. I'm going to have to try to remember that one.
Yeah, have you ever been to Pickletown?
Nope.
Well, you're fixing to be.
May 23rd, we're doing the Meg's Memorial Biker Run down to Pomeroy parking lot. June 14th, we're at the Whitman Memorial Run. June 28th, Woodstock, Virginia. Yay. July 19th, Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. July 26th, we're doing Mad Fest in St. Albans. August 1st, we're at the Blues Bash. That's Meigs County, Pomeroy.
Awesome.
August 9th, Vet Fest. August 16th, we're at Southern Rock and Gallia. August 23rd, we're in Nashville, Tennessee. October 4th, we're at Maggie Valley, North Carolina.
And we got, there's more shows on there we didn't write
Yeah,
down.
we
There's,
got-
there's some
yeah,
We
private
got a lot more
parties.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
just from now to October.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're
there's-
interested in the show, just look us up on Facebook.
Yeah.
We event everything. So
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. Like, are you available for hire?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, just call us,
absolutely.
message us,
Absolutely.
whatever.
And
Anytime,
for sale.
anytime you want rock and roll, give us all.
And for sale.
Yeah, we'll sell Roger for like $3 right now. $3 and a pack of cigarettes.
I feel the
Okay.
love. That's better than $5.
Yeah.
Well,
$3.
the pack of
know.
cigarettes is a little more
Yeah.
valuable than $3.
Yeah,
isn't
cigarettes
it?
are more expensive than the $3, Roger. You ought to thank me here. Come on, man.
That was a bargain.
God,
Back in the present day,
I'm
we
giving
could
him more than
save
he's
for some
worth.
zooms, and wham whams.
Zoom, zooms, and wham, wham. I think I want to sit over there.
Can we say that on the air?
You want to scoop
That's low Debbie cake.
out of camera
Oh.
Yeah.
You put me in the middle.
ya.
range? Yeah, you gotta be up there for the camera, Roger. The pre
You guys are too much.
He's just missing his dreads, though. That's what's wrong with him.
Aw.
He's been
Yeah.
quiet. He's and secure.
He pulled the braids out, and now he's all.
Oh, we can fix it back.
Cornrows,
It's fine. Yeah.
Now he's trying to be shy because he ain't got the cornrows.
I'm gonna shave it like you.
You better not.
Oh.
It used to be that way.
Just keep on rocking and your hair falls out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah,
bad.
he was baldy. He kept his hair all cut off.
Really?
Yeah, for a long time.
Nice.
For a couple
Now it's
years
grown out
there,
real
didn't
pretty. Well, very good. Well, guys, Pete's here to do some news. Is there anything else you wanted to let our viewers know while you're here?
Just check us out.
Check us out.
Check us out.
Dragon's Eye.
Thanks to
forget
all of
the
our fans
subscribe
for the
button.
support.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys are awesome.
Shout out again to Ryan. We love you, dude. We wish you could have been here today.
Yeah, Ryan. Next time,
There you go, Ryan. That's for you.
come back and see us, buddy. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for
Stop
having
out,
us.
check out their shows, check them out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, and you can find out all kind of fun things about Dragon's Eye. And they will be here in town
That's
on
right.
May
May
3rd.
the 3rd.
Get on out.
So Pickletown, USA.
Pickletown, USA.
That's right.
Dragons out forever.
You got it. All right. Well, we will be back in just a minute with our good friend Pete Wilson and some news.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
All right, and we are back with our good friend Pete Wilson. Are you a rocker too?
I'd have to listen to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll leave the rocking to the guys.
Here's the rule of thumb on rock music. If you can't hear the lyrics, I have a problem. If it's more noise than lyrics.
Gotcha.
Although it's everybody's cup of tea.
Yes.
Everybody's cup of tea.
Hey, you do you, boo, right?
All right.
All right. So what's going on with the news?
Okay. Well, this big news comes out of Chillicothe, but the ripples will definitely affect our
my
local
goodness,
counties, Jackson and
yes.
Vinton. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This was officially announced yesterday morning, and
Man.
you hear everybody talking about it. But one of the biggest employers in our area has been the paper plant over in Chillicothe. Through years and years, it was run by the Mead Company out of Dayton. And a lot of people still call it that, but it has changed hands a number of times over the last 15 years or so. And it is now owned by Pixel Specialty Solutions. I'm not even sure I said Pixel right. But the bad news was that they announced yesterday morning in a news release that they were closing the Chillicothe plant.
Was that just out of nowhere?
Well, I had not.
I don't know.
They've always had a lot of employees. In recent years, let's say 20, 25 years ago, they had well over 1,000. 1,200 is what I read somewhere.
Oh, man.
They still had 830, and they've had to modernize and change their product line with the times.
Sure.
But it's still a major employer.
Oh, my gosh.
A lot of production jobs with top pay. You had here in Jackson, Jen, we all know a lot of people who have worked and maybe do work for that company there in South Chillicothe. And
Very sad.
Pixel is based in Pennsylvania, and what they're going to do is they're going to consolidate their operations, which we've seen big companies do before.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, the Chillicothe plant is the odd man out. They're headquartered in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, and one of the media reports indicated that the operations from Chillicothe, what they're keeping or maintaining, will go there. They also have a plant in Fremont, which is way up in northwestern Ohio.
Yes.
So, no word on exactly when the full closure will be, but they will be closing in phases. And, you're talking about 830 jobs. That's major. But you've got to look beyond that. You've got to look at the economic impact.
Absolutely.
You have people that will be in a situation, many of them will be out of a job, at least temporarily. They may not find a job as good as the one they had. How much they spend will
Oh,
be a
the
factor.
trickle-down effect
The
is...
trickle and the ripples are
Oh, my gosh.
are major. Somebody like Sam Brady could probably explain it, which I'm hoping to contact him for that kind of perspective.
Yes.
But that news happened yesterday, and that plant goes back, believe it or not, to 1817. I mean, we're talking about 1 year after Jackson County was even formed.
Oh, my
1817,
gosh.
And it's just been a major employer in the area, not just for Chillicothe and Ross County, but for surrounding counties as well. And so, the Economic Development Office in Chillicothe, I'm sure local city, Ross County, the Chillicothe Chamber of Commerce, they're all going to work with the company on the difficult transition period to hopefully relocate and retrain employees so, they can maybe slide into another job that will work for them.
That's 800 and some jobs.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
I've not heard any official word or unofficial word that this was coming. So I don't know whether this was internally.
I just felt like
how
it
much
just came out of nowhere.
Well, we hadn't heard anything bad, There over the years, there's been changes of ownership that we've reported or whatever. And when that happens, there's bound to be, some changes or whatever. But anyway, that we will certainly be following that and coming up with local angles if we can. But we were able to get something in yesterday's paper because it did break just yesterday. But anyway, when I say yesterday's paper, I should say today's paper because it's out today, but it was printed yesterday.
Yes.
So that was my perspective. All right, well, let's talk about some good news. All right,
Please.
At their most recent meeting, the Jackson City Schools continued with a program, an annual program that is very positive. I just love to see it. For some years, they discontinued it. I'm not sure why, but they started it back up several years ago. That is the Hall of Honor. Mm-hmm. That's like the Hall of Fame for the school district. It's far-ranging. How somebody can be inducted into it can be long-time service to the schools. It can be personal achievement.
Yep.
It can be contributions to the community and at large. And at the last school board meeting, they named 3 different inductees, one posthumous. One of the honorees was somebody. Here is the picture that Jeremiah Shaver took at the meeting. It's got the 2 living inductees and a representative of the posthumous inductee. But the inductees are Mary Elizabeth Billman, Jean Cartwright, and the late Carol Evans. And they're in the foreground. On the left in the checkered dress is Mary Elizabeth Billman. And Mary Elizabeth Billman has such respect in the community for all she has done.
Yes.
She's just a super. For many years, she did it as a volunteer. I think she might be on a supplemental contract now, but anything to do with music.
Oh, my goodness.
And she's also had, 4 daughters come through the Jackson City Schools too, and they're all graduated. And I think her and Dr. Rick Billman are grandparents, of course.
Yes.
But she still is a giver. And I was so glad to see this. This is somebody who, not a superintendent, not a mayor, not some inventor who's gone off and made a name for it, but just somebody behind the scenes. Don't look for any kind of credit or honors or whatever.
Has just been there.
Just been there
for everybody.
So that shows what the Hall of Honor is. It can be it doesn't have to be somebody who has been in a leading position or whatever, but somebody who has done much for the district. Jean Cartwright could almost be in that situation. Now, she worked 47 years. She's from the class of 1970.
Wow.
And she has worked for 6 different superintendents, mainly as the secretary to the superintendents. And I know that behind the scenes, Superintendent Phil Howard, the current superintendent, thought so much of her, even though that was at the end of her career, and felt that, I know that he personally felt that she would be deserving for the Hall of Honor, and she has been inducted into the Hall of Honor. And just like Mary Elizabeth, she couldn't believe that she got chosen.
Aw,
that's how
love
modest
that.
she
She's a
is. She's just
sweetheart,
considered
too.
so nice and professional. And I know from the years that I've been in the media business, sometimes I started and ended with Jean to get information or make a contact, and you could always count on her to be professional and to get back with you quickly with what you needed. So I was very glad to see both of them inducted. Also inducted is the late Carol Evans. Carol, of course, died in 2008, and she had, of course, we know a lot of her children have come through the schools and are still in the schools. And the person who was in the picture, by the way, was her granddaughter, Emily.
Yes.
Emily Crabtree, who is now, she was with the Jackson City Schools. Now she's with the Gallia Vinton Educational Service Center as an administrator. But Carol raised, 5 children, I think. Is it 5 or 6? She raised 5 or 6 children. And after she got them raised, she went into education, studied at the same time,
Yes.
And Mayor Randy Evans is one of her children, of course.
Absolutely.
And he, even though he's not in the schools, he was a school board member and school board president for many years. And then, of course, you got Dr. Debbie Crabtree, who is still working with the schools. You got Emily, the granddaughter. You got Ellen Evans McCabe, who's down at the vocational school.
Yep.
So,
My neighbor.
Right, exactly. But anyway,
Mike.
Carol was a much respected administrator at some different schools. I know she was an elementary school principal as well.
She was my principal at Kinnison.
At Kinnison as well as a teacher before that.
Yep.
And she raised those kids,
After Mr. McDonald.
studied through school, and then jumped in and quickly went from teacher to administrator.
Yes.
Just very highly valued person. And she will be honored posthumously. I know the family is very honored and touched by that. So Hall of Honor in recent years gets inducted in a ceremony that takes place just before the Jackson High School alumni program. That'll be on Saturday.
Very cool.
That'll be on Saturday, May the 24th, I think it is. Let me see here if I have this written down. I'm in that, but I haven't got that far yet. But anyway, it'll be on that Memorial Day weekend on the Saturday evening. They'll have the alumni program, but before that, they'll have the Hall of Honor induction. They're separate, but one goes right into the other. And that is free at the Jackson Middle School auditorium, and that is when they will be inducted. They will have big pictures. They will get plaques, of course, but they will also have their picture, the big enduring honor, other than just getting the honor and forever and ever, is they'll have their pictures up on the high school wall in the commons there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. All right, we're just about out of time, but I do want to tell you about another thing that's going on. We want to remind you that tonight, the Following in His Steps program will be going on at the Christ Church in Jackson.
Okay.
There in the Family Life Center. It starts tonight and will go through Saturday. And there's programs at 6:30 and 7:30. I think probably Terry Kavanaugh went over that yesterday, didn't he? Or did he talk about that yesterday? Okay. Well, I thought he probably did because he's part of the Jackson Ministerial Association.
Yes.
But this is a collaboration of churches. Volunteers will depict different scenes of the Easter story.
Oh, wow.
And it should be
That's
very nice.
neat.
And it's they're going to have programs Wednesday through Saturday evenings, 2 programs each evening, one at 6:30 and one at 7:30. Now, this is very important. I wanted to bring this up. I'm so glad I did since Terry didn't cover that yesterday. You have to get tickets. They're free, but because they want to control the numbers and like that.
Sure.
They don't want to have too many at once. They want it to be a good visiting experience. You're supposed to get tickets in advance at Christ Church. You can pick them up there, or you can just call 740-286-3419 during office hours.
Okay.
And that will make it work a whole lot better if you do that. So that is, once again,
That's great.
This
Sounds fun.
Wednesday through Saturday evenings. Also, speaking about the paper, it's out on the streets. We've got a lot in it. Of course, we'll have all those pictures of the royalty candidates for both the Apple Festival and the Wild Turkey Festival. We've got a big report, about the education rally that was last Saturday. Also, of course, the story about the Hall of Honor. The Rotary Show. There's a lot in there. Take my word for it. On the sports, I want to mention this. You know what Hannah Potts did last night? Now, I'll give
something
you one
incredible, I'm sure.
I'll give you one guess. She is the senior Wellston High School softball pitcher who is just spectacular. She threw a no-hitter.
Of course she did.
There she is, right there, in action against Vinton County. Jessica Wells was here yesterday. Unfortunately, she was victimized by Hannah Potts, but
No,
she's not the only one. They threw a no-hitter against a pretty good Benton County team, won 6-0. It would have been a perfect game, but there was an error in the 5th inning.
Oh,
so
man.
you lose a perfect game, which is even more special than a no-hitter if there's a walk or an error any way that somebody gets on base. So that even wasn't her fault. She didn't even walk anybody, but there was an error, and so it was a no-hitter rather than a perfect game. I think that's at least 3 for Hannah already this year.
She's pretty good.
Right, and the Wellston Lady Rockets, because of Hannah and her mates, are undefeated. But the Jackson Ironmen are also undefeated. They defeated the Washington Courthouse Blue Lions last night, 5-4. Dan Morrow and I were out there calling the game in wind chills of about 36 degrees.
Gosh, it was horrible.
And I'll tell you what, the Ironmen made us wait. They were losing to Washington Courthouse late in the game, 4-2. Those are 2 of the best teams in the FAC. Jackson pushed across 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, held on in the 7th inning to win 5-4. They are now 6-0.
Makes it worth braving the wind for, right, Pete?
That's right. Usually I drink pop, but I was looking for hot chocolate, but they didn't have any.
I can imagine.
Or hot cider, anything like that.
Anything warm.
Right. I thought I could file the toboggan, but
Oof.
All right. Well, anyway.
Evidently not. Not in Ohio.
Anyway, lots of activities going on. We got lots of Easter egg hunts coming up. Some were last weekend. There's even more coming up on Saturday. A list of those are in the paper as well, in case you want to hit more than one.
I'm just going to tell you, you need to pick up today's paper.
Right. Okay.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Pete. And thank you to everyone that stopped by today. Lots of fun here on the program. So we will see you right back here tomorrow with... another musician and a movie segment from our good friend Josh. So we'll be back, and we'll see you in the morning. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.